Hello, everybody, and welcome to this special live presentation with Mr. Gustavo Zaldivar, Mr. Rodney Blackburn, and, of course, our very special guest, Dr. Tony from the United States. And my name is Charles Andrade, and we are here to share with you something that's very dear to our hearts that we hope will improve the lives of soldiers and veterans in the United States and their families. And we can't wait to share with you what Dr. Tony has arranged for the soldiers in the States. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Gustavo Zaldivar right now, and he's going to share with you what this study means to him. Thank you, Jeff.
Well, I want to thank each and every one of you, wish everyone a Happy New Year. I want to especially thank Dr. Tony Serna for taking the time to speak to us regarding MMR 21. This is a very unique and special product formulation for military active duty members. At this time, I would like to introduce Dr. Tony Serna and Rodney, and both of them are going to discuss what MMR is and why it exists. Dr. Tony, Rodney, it's on you.
Yep. Sure, absolutely.
Well, hey, Dr. Tony, I really appreciate you taking the time with me today and doing this kind of roundtable discussion. There are many active duty as well as veteran soldiers, whether they're in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, whether they're, like I said, active duty or veterans, whether they're in the National Guard or reserves. Looks like we're encompassing pretty much everybody in this, and I know we're going to get into a really good discussion. And but first, if you could, I would really appreciate it just explaining to everybody about why MMR 21 was created, and before that, if you could just give people a little bit of background about yourself, maybe that kind of bring it all together so people understand why we're presenting this to them.
Sure, absolutely. First of all, it's a pleasure being on this conversation with you guys, and hopefully there's many more. There's a lot of material. There's a lot of information, a lot of education that has to take place, and this is certainly a great avenue. So I applaud you guys for putting this together. Hopefully it lands in as many years as possible. In my 20 plus years in the medical field, I have seen many products, from the extraction of ingredients to the formulation of different products to the delivery systems that are being used out in different parts of the world. And there's something in particular that really is hurting individuals, and we focused in the United States of America as our first territory of choice, and the reason is because this is where we live. Hopefully, at some point, we will be able to expand to the rest of the world, and we've done this by forming this organization by the name of Military Medical Relief 21. So MMR21.com is the website. And we are basically an independent marketing company. And we've contracted with a couple of research specialists that what they're doing, what they're focusing on is basically they're doing the research on how compound medicine is, how effective is it, compared to the opioid medications that are out there. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of medications that are out there, but a lot of those medications, just simply because your doctor tells you, and I'm telling you, I'm a doctor, just simply because the doctor's telling you to take it, it's not necessarily the best choice. And so we need to be careful with that. And again, I'm not saying that we need to go against the doctor, but certainly get a second opinion, and certainly voice your concern, because us doctors will listen. And if you tell us, hey, listen, I'm just concerned with this medication because of the ingredients in it, maybe the ingredients in your medication is hydrocodone, for example, or Vicodin, or Soma, or Xanax, and you say, you know what, those are on the opioid side, and I'm not necessarily too fond of those, and I don't really want to take those. I don't want to consume those. Then your doctor should listen to you, and most doctors will. And so that's where we're kind of coming in, and we're saying, hey, look, doctors, there definitely are other choices. There's other avenues that we can take, and here's one: a compound medication. And
Dr. Tony, sorry to interrupt, but could you explain to everybody what that means? What is a compound medicine compared to, say, the regular medication out there from a pharmaceutical company?
Sure, absolutely. I think that's certainly important. Here's the main difference. Compound medication is going to be medication that's specifically put together for the patient. So it's basically a personalized medication for the individual. Whereas what happens is, when you have like a painkiller or these pills that are out there, they're already formulated. They don't change them. It's the same formulation for everybody. And so where a compound formulation comes in is that it's different. It's specific. It's for the individual, and it's put together specifically for that individual to make sure that it's going to address whatever we're trying to address. So in other words, compound medications are made from scratch. They're individual ingredients. We mix them. They're mixed together, and in the exact strength and dosage form required by the patient. So that's how it works. Now, the method, what it does is it allows the compounding pharmacist to work with the patient and the prescriber to be able to customize the medication to meet the patient's specific needs, whatever those are, if it's pain or if it's scars or what have you. Now, because the compound medications are personalized, for the patients, it is not possible for each formulation, and this is important for us to understand, it is not possible for every formulation to go through the FDA's drug approval process. As you can see, there's about over, 340 million Americans. So for us to be able to, to formulate to put all of those through the FDA, it's drug approval process is going to be a little bit impossible. It would take years and years to complete. And so what happens is basically the ingredients are FDA approved, but the actual formulation is not. So sometimes we'll hear that. We'll say, well, those formulas aren't approved by the FDA. Well, anybody that would have some sense would be able to understand. Certainly if they're listening to this conversation, that hopefully they'll get the picture. That it's not as easy as it sounds. It's that they're formulated specifically for the needs of the patient.
Right, but a trained professional, a doctor, somebody who's certified, is actually taking FDA-approved chemicals, compounds, and then taking that and formulating it, personalizing that medication so it's tailored for that particular individual. So with that, it meets all the requirements and makes it safe. And am I saying that properly?
Absolutely, 100% correct. Not only that, our pharmacy our choice of pharmacy that we've selected, and it's a pharmacy that's been around for over 100 years, so it certainly has all the experience that is needed for these formulations. Absolutely, but you are right on the dot.
And then the pharmacy itself, so they're working with a pharmacy that's been around for a very long time. Is that something we can talk about now? Is who the pharmacy is?
Sure, absolutely, yes. Our pharmacy is Rexall. You probably recognize the name. Rexall has been around for a very, very long time, and they're pretty much in almost every state in the United States. And so it's a national pharmacy. It's been around forever. So certainly they know exactly. I mean, they know what they're doing for sure. And in our network of doctors, I mean, you have doctors from our network of doctors consists from medical directors of hospitals to ER doctors and so on. So these are highly specialized doctors that we also have access to this network that the individual can actually feel safe and feel comfortable going through an evaluation process with the doctor. So essentially what we're doing is we're bringing the information to the patient. The patient then obviously calls their specific primary doctor if they wish, or they can use a doctor in our network. At that point, an evaluation gets done, and for whatever their needs are. But the main thing here is that MMR 21's main goal is to bring awareness to compound medication. We want to make sure, and specifically, we want to make sure that military individuals are not put on these opioids, and if they are, then let's put them on for only a short period of time, and then let's move them on to the compound medication so that they can avoid any other risk that comes with those opioid medications.
Right. Oh gosh, I was getting ready to ask you something here about the process of it. When people, want to get themselves enrolled into this, and they want to take a look into it, and they what are the steps that when somebody goes to? I know that there is a referral number for this when people go into this, but this mmr21.com/enroll, and then I guess they put in a referral number, which I know the referral number I was given here was 310-8067. But when they go onto this website, is there information there? What's typically the procedure?
Yes, absolutely. All the steps are clearly marked on the website. There's certainly information there where they can read up on everything that we're talking about. They can watch videos. Consumer Reports has done a couple of videos on everything we're speaking about. So certainly those videos are accessible to them as well. And that library will get bigger and bigger. There's testimonies also on the website. And we're going to continue to add more testimonies on there as well. But, yeah, the procedures or the process is very, very simple. It's you have pain, you have scars, you have migraines, you have anything that you have that can be addressed by compound medication, then that's where we can kind of help inform an individual on how compound's going to work with them. But the process is very simple. I mean, it's you have pain or any of those things that I mentioned, you pretty much go onto the website, you fill out the enroll form, and what that's doing is it's basically getting you an evaluation with a doctor. So then at that point, then it's between you and the patient and the doctor. We kind of get out of that picture. So then it becomes private information between the doctor and the patient, and they go over the needs of the patient and why the compounding is going to be good and so on. And the doctor is there to answer every question that patient has. From there, the doctor then prescribes any medication that's needed, and the patient receives it at home depending on the qualification of whatever insurance coverage they have. So it's as easy as that. But again, our main concern is let's bring awareness that compound medication works, that it's effective, and that it's certainly an alternative, and it's certainly another choice that's out there to help individuals.
Now, also, I wanted you to elaborate a little bit about, there's people, this is considered, there was a study that was done first and foremost, and when people are participating in this, are they participating in a study, and are they compensated in any way? So if you could get into maybe some of those details, that would be great.
Sure. No problem. Absolutely. Yeah. So MMR 21 does not do a study. We are an information outlet, a hub for the patients to come in and kind of find out more about compounding, how they can be helped, and we also link them to the network of doctors if they wish to have a doctor, so they can have an evaluation. However, though, we are in close relationship with another organization by the name of American Christian Warriors 13, and they dedicate themselves completely to medical research, and they have a biblical base, and so they study all types of medicines and how effective are they, and so on and so on. And so they have what's known as kind of like a patient safety initiative assessment study going on, where they have. It just happens that they have focused on compound medication as well, and I'm glad, because we need those. We need that data. We need as much data as possible when it comes to compounding, because compounding, again, we want to continue promoting it. We want to continue educating people, but in order for people to get attention from the government, from different agencies and different insurances and so on, there has to be data, and that's where that's going to help us. And so they are conducting a patient assessment study where pretty much the individual uses their medication, and then after 30 to 40 days, within 30 to 40 days, it actually can't be longer, they have to fill out an assessment, and which is done by a third party as well. And once the assessment is completed, then there is some compensation there for the patient's time and feedback, which obviously, none of us like to sit in front of a computer and give feedback and all that other stuff, and so there's some compensation there in that they're able to participate in, and obviously that could be a good thing too.
Well, yeah, most definitely. Before I ask you another question, one of the reasons I got into this, and my name is Rodney Blackburn, and I'm out there in the industry. I do a lot of stuff on out with network marketing, and I'm got a couple degrees myself. But when Charles brought this to my attention, as far as like with my background being in the military for 8 years, the number of people I know, and the many things that I've seen on television, especially with all the wars we've been in, the battles that have been continuously going on. But what I saw in this was an opportunity that is so big here. And I just, I had to do something about this. Not only that, but to help somebody, because I'm very holistic. I like to, try to find other alternatives besides the modern medicine that's out there, because I feel that there's some flaws to how the system, and like you said, it's like not one pill works for everybody. There's something different that's out there. And, the other thing that I saw is that, with people, wanting to get into this particular type of assessment study, but if there's a little bit of compensation, hey, that's great. If somebody can make a little bit of extra compensation, especially with the times that we're in today. But more importantly, if they are able to get something like you were saying with these personalized medications, this I think it would just make a tremendous difference. And my next question is that I know there has been some studies that have been going on and over the past couple of years. Could you get into about the studies that have been going on with these particular compound medications?
Yes, definitely. There's always going to be studies. You can certainly, there's different types of studies. There are clinical studies. This is not a clinical study that this particular organization is conducting. So it's important to realize that as well. So a clinical study is where you're trying to prove that an ingredient works, that an actual formulation works, and that's a registered study with the FDA, and so on and so on. This is more of a we're trying to collect this particular organization, and I say we because I'm very interested in the data, and we're going to be using that data as well. But this data is important because it's going to also give us feedback on how effective, how are the patients reacting? How's it working for them, and so on. Again, the ingredients are already approved by the FDA. The process is approved. All of that's in line, and it's professionally done. But it's just like any other study, Rodney. There's all kinds of studies out there, for different types of things. There's studies for shampoo. A shampoo comes out, and they'll do a study for that. You walk in through almost any mall in the United States, and you'll find individuals that are with clipboards, and they're saying, "Hey, come over here for 30 minutes and do a quick study, and we're going to pay you $100, or something like that." And so the studies are there, obviously, because we want data. Data is necessary in order to be able to move forward with anything, with processes, with anything that we're trying to create, and so or do. And so that's the case here. The important thing here, though, is that it's not necessarily even the money that they're getting for their time and for their feedback. The important thing here is that they are actually helping in the awareness of compound medication, and they're also bringing more awareness to it. But they're helping also so that other individuals can maybe not, now they're going to say, what, I've heard it on this conversation, and my doctor was going to prescribe some opioids, and I went to my doctor and I said, what, I'd rather skip on the opioid medication that you were going to put me on. Why don't you put me on some compound medication? And how great is that? That